Hi everyone, so recently I got in 1,000 hours into Warframe, so I thought I'd make a video about this game, and if it's a good game, what I got out of putting 1,000 hours into this game, and ultimately, was it worth it? This video might be useful if you played like 500 hours, if you played 30 hours, or if you played 0. This video is going to tell you how worth it is to play Warframe and how good of a game it truly is. So yeah, let's get straight into the video. So we'll start on how good is Warframe. And where I'll start first is the gameplay, the core gameplay of this game. And so for the gameplay, there's gameplay in the background here. The movement is very fast, first of all. You can dodge, you can bullet jump, you can slide, you can wall run, you can do all these things in Warframe. So the movement is pretty insane. And then you have abilities. You have 4 abilities for your Tenno or Warframe, and they even can speed up movement as well. But they do a lot of different things for the different Warframes and their playstyles. Then you have your weapons, which include primary, secondary, and melee. For the primaries, there's a lot of cool things out there that do different things and unique things, and some of them have some alternate fire options, so you could press a key and do an alternate fire mode. That's kind of your main gameplay mechanics in this game. There is more that gets unlocked and more options that come later on, but for now, I don't want to spoil anything. Gameplay is generally easy. It's easy to kill enemies in this game as long as you have the mods and gear necessary, which by the time you're at that point, you probably will have the gear necessary. With the gameplay modes in this game, they're mostly the same couple ones with a few exceptions, and they get recycled across the star chart. What the star chart is the planets in our system. You have Earth, you have Venus, you have Neptune, you have Jupiter, stuff like that. And that's how you progress in this game, is going through the different planets. So you'll have a couple modes being repeated and repeated. Each time they're in a further planet, they get more difficult though. Most game modes in Warframe are pretty good, such as Exterminate, Capture, Defense, Mobile Defense, Survival, stuff like that. Interception though is kind of annoying. Spy missions are very annoying unless you have the build for that. Most of the game modes in this game are pretty chill, pretty fun, but then there's some outliers there that are worse. So overall, the gameplay in Warframe is pretty calm, and you don't need all the movement in this game really. And it gets to a point where it gets kind of cheesy with some of the faster Warframes, where the movement gets so fast that it feels a little cheesy and maybe feels like you're going too fast. I don't know. But the main way of progressing in Warframe are quests. Other than doing the star chart, which I talked about earlier, quests are the main other progression system, and they're overall pretty fun. They're not the most memorable if you only like the gameplay, but if you're into the lore, you will probably like them. If you're part of the lore and you like lore in games. Other than that, they're a nice excursion, a nice little break from your regular grind you would have in Warframe. So they're a nice way to break up the gameplay segments and have something new in there. The other part of Warframe is learning everything with the game itself. You'll have to learn modding, you'll have to learn gaining resources, or you'll have to go on the wiki for a lot of different resources that you don't know already. And so there's a lot of different ways to unlock certain mods, certain things, and you'll have to learn all of that too, and learn how to get weapons, and learn all that stuff. It's very complicated, but if you like doing that research, if you like digging deep and getting into learning mechanics, this game's probably for you. With learning on this game, it's not just limited to beginners, it's for experienced players too. Like, I'm still learning things. There's like things like Riven mods, Kuva, there's Eidolons, there's Galvanized mods, all these mechanics. Since this game is like 10 years old, 11 years old basically, they've been updating it so much that there's so many mechanics in this game, and they keep updating it. There's new Warframes out basically every 6 months. And so you're basically going to be learning all the time when playing this game. You're going to have to bring the wiki. And if you like doing that, this is a game for you, as I said before. The next thing we're going to talk about is the Relic system. The Relic system is the thing where you get prime Warframes. These Warframes are slightly better than the original. So the way the Relic system works is you have bronze, silver, and gold. Those are the 3 reward tiers, and it's like a loot box where you have different percentages as the outcome for what you're getting. When you do a mission, they unlock, and when you unlock a relic, when you do it and you get the reward, you get something called void traces. These void traces you can put into relics if you get enough to improve the odds. The issue is the highest odds, you can still very easily not get what you want. You can still miss gold completely, you could have 10, 15 relics and still not get the gold reward if you put every single one of them as the highest percentage. The relic system is probably one of the biggest issues with RNG mechanics in this game. Some days you can be really lucky and get a reward basically instantly. Other days you're grinding 8 hours and you still have nothing to show for it. Some of those items that you need to craft the components, craft your weapon, craft your frame are going to be gold. So you're going to have to stack up relics, you're going to have to grind so much for the void traces. And even with that chance, you don't have that much of a big chance to get it, so it's mostly luck. As a person with 1,000 hours in this game, the relic system can be really tiring. And this gets annoying because you basically want to get the prime version of the Warframe. There's not much reason not to get the prime version, and sometimes it's harder to get the regular compared to the prime. There's one system that needs the regular Warframe, but that system is later on in the game, so I won't tell you what that is because that would be spoilers, so yeah. But other than that, you don't really need the regular Warframe. So if you're going to use that Warframe and upgrade it, you basically have to get the prime version. In Warframe, there are these open worlds such as Deimos, Cetus, and Fortuna, and they're pretty grindy because you have these different systems you have to interact with that are unique. There's a mining system where you mine rocks. There's a fishing system where you catch like sci-fi fish. There is a hunting system for sci-fi creatures, I guess. Sci-fi dogs, sci-fi bugs, insects. You get them with your tranquilizer rifle. There's one with bounties. And overall, there's a lot of different systems with these open worlds, and you have to engage with them, and you have to go through 5 ranks. And it takes a long time. I haven't even gone to rank 5 with any of them yet, which is the highest rank of these open worlds. That, I guess, tells you these take a long time to complete. So generally, if you've been listening, a lot of the things I've been talking about are these large systems that are in Warframe. There's a lot of different and unique systems. There's a lot of things to do in Warframe. And I've played a game similar to that, like Destiny 2. But this game, I feel like it's easier to engage with. I haven't seen myself not really being in front of the main menu, being in front of the screen, not knowing what to do. Each time I kind of get into Warframe, there's something easy to complete, easy to do. A lot of these things you can do in Warframe are pretty calm, and they don't really take a lot of time. Arbitrations are maybe the only thing that take a long time. Some quests take a while, but if you're doing a large quest, it already says that's going to take a while, so you will be prepared for that. If it's a quest that locks you out for an amount of time, it'll tell you how long the quest normally takes, which is a really cool thing. The only real time you're going to be lost or confused or overwhelmed in Warframe is the beginning, because it's hard to learn these systems. There's a lot of systems to learn in the beginning, so you might get lost, you might get confused. But once you know those systems, you can kind of just hop back in and see, oh, I haven't done Varuna yet. I can go get some more Lua prisms and complete Varuna. Now time to talk about the price of Warframe. It is free to play. It's very much free to play, but there is a thing called slots. What slots are is a limited amount of Warframes and weapons you can hold. And if you want more, if you want to hold more Warframes, if you want to hold more weapons, you have to buy slots. Now, there is trading in this game, but I don't trade, so I usually buy them. But if you do buy slots, that's a part of the game money. That's a part of what you're spending to play this game. And so you can craft these Warframes, you can craft these weapons, but if you don't have enough slots, you can't hold them, you can't play with them, you can't use them. You can trade to get platinum, which is the premium currency, to get slots. But most likely, you're going to buy them. So up until that point where you fill up your slots, the game's basically free. But if you buy slots, then that's basically pay to play more. And most people will probably buy them because trading is another whole market to learn and a whole other thing to learn. And I think maybe it's around the 100-hour mark where you're probably likely to fill up your slots. And that's if you do relics or you get other frames pretty fast. But yeah, it's basically free to play up until you get to that point where you have enough Warframes, enough weapons to fill up your slots. Then it becomes more of a slightly mobile game system where it never is truly over with buying the game. But with Warframe, it's very subtle, and it is a good game overall, except for the slots being the ultimate issue, to where maybe if I was in an alternate dimension, I would rather take buying Warframe for $60 to never have to deal with slots. But I guess that's maybe just me. Warframe, though, is really good with its track record of microtransactions. Destiny 2, they recently laid off so many people, and the CEO is still getting all these classic cars, basically playing Forza Horizon 5 in real life Then with Apex, they basically took their battle pass, they cut it in half, and make you pay double the amount for the same 120, 110 levels. So a lot of these game companies with live service games are kind of flopping, while Warframe is just doing the same old thing and they're not changing anything. And it is really nice, it's really stable, it's a nice game. It could change, that could change definitely, but I have at least some level of confidence knowing that it won't change, because for the how many years it's been pretty well. There was one thing with this Frost and Mag heirloom where that costed a lot of money, but that's been basically their only thing in this whole time of me playing this game. This is the only thing that I have pushback on. Well, with Destiny 2 Apex, there's like so many different things that they try to pull. They try to do all these things to make more money, while Warframe's being consistent and it's really paying off for them. Now the real question, what did I get out of playing 1,000 hours? And I did get a lot of Warframes, got a lot of weapons, I could try those out, I got a lot of melee weapons. This is a game where you buy the blueprints or farm them or farm these different parts, and you have to basically get like 4 different parts to make a single item, but in my opinion, it's not that bad. With relics, it can be bad, that's obviously luck, but if you're doing general grinding to get, say, a regular weapon, you usually can do that. It's not that crazy of a grind. Yeah, with playing 1,000 hours, if you have the slots, if you have the weapons, and even if you don't, you have a lot of different things that come later in the game. Obviously, we won't talk about spoilers here, but you do have a lot of ways to play. Once you're like 1,000 hours in, you have a lot of different things to do that you can do. And the final question for this video, was it worth it to play Warframe? Playing Warframe for 1,000 hours, is that worth it? And it's been kind of worth it. There's been a lot of suffering, there's a lot of pain and rage when it comes to some of the relic things of grinding those for hours and not getting anything. But it's also a really fun experience. It's obviously not perfect, but it's also consistent in terms of, I know in a couple years I might be playing Warframe still. DE is developing Soulframe, so I guess I'll see if they'll be still updating the game in a couple years, but I know at least they won't greed out. At least they won't push me away from their greed. With Rocket League, I quit Rocket League because Psyonix got bought by Epic. Then they removed trading and they put a $40 DLC car onto Fortnite in Rocket League. When a couple years earlier, in 2019, it was $2 for a DLC car back then with Psyonix. With Warframe, they had that Mag and Frost heirloom, which was pretty overpriced, but this latest Ember heirloom is really normal price, and they've learned that basically they don't want to do that anymore because the Mag and Frost one didn't really sell, while the Ember heirloom definitely sold. I bought it. It's this cool crystal thing, and I'm really excited for the future of Warframe with Warframe 1999 coming this December, and it was pretty worth it playing this game. The weapons I got, the Warframes I got, and the different playstyles I can go with, and this game's just really calm and fun. This is the type of game where you put on a YouTube video and just listen back while you're playing some Warframe and have a good time. And a lot of the games now are really intense, especially first-person shooters that are PvP, and something like this that's really calm and fun, and you have a lot of different gameplay options is really nice. So with this game, there are a few cons. The cons kind of stand out, but there's so many pros that it makes it a really good game. And it's a game that I don't really get burnt out on, at least as much as other games. And it's a game I can easily come back to and enjoy. And it's kind of what gaming should be, with the fun of it being the main part of it. So I say it's worth it to play this game. Maybe starting out, it might be hard, might be rough, you'll have to learn a lot, but it's really fun, it's really calm, it's nice to be playing this game when you know a lot of the stuff and you're more experienced. So yeah, my experience on 1,000 hours of Warframe, I think it's worth it to play. It was worth it for me. This is obviously not a perfect game, but it's a really fun game. And so yeah, that's about it. Like if you like, dislike if you dislike, subscribe if you want, and tell me if you want more Warframe content. Bye!